really good. Yeah, it's great. We've got 3 shows left, and we started in LA and we drove across, and all the shows have been great.
Yeah.
It's been bears across America, lots of bears.
Yeah,
It's been great fun.
Pulling good gay crew.
Really?
They've been representing. In fact, the bear crew in San Francisco, they were like our police force. Because there was a fight broke out right in front of me. There's 2 girls had punching the shit out of each other. And I was like, shit, what do? Do I stop the song? Because everyone's having a good time. And then luckily, our mates in the front, they just pulled the 2 girls apart and they got our back.
Bear Force 1.
But Kim and I met at university. We were studying music about 12 years ago.
In Australia?
Yeah, in Australia, in Sydney. And we became friends at uni, and we started playing music together, and we had another band called Prop, with 3 other people in it. After a while, we started this new thing, just the 2 of us, a bit more rocky electro thing, and we called it the Presets.
So it's pop electronica too?
It was like a 5-piece, like an instrumental thing with vibraphones and xylophones and synths. It was very soundscapey and soundtracky and a little bit post-rock kind of thing. But yeah, after a while we decided we wanted to do something, just the 2 of us, and that was the Presets. And so 5 or 6 years later,
When you buy a synthesizer or a keyboard, they have preset sounds already in, similar to like a car stereo or whatever. And so initially the idea was to make really stupid music using the preset sound. So it was going to be like quite punky, but in a synth way.
It's an interesting concept.
But funnily enough, there's not really that much. You end up sounding a bit, I don't know, dumb.
we try to make things that have just come out of our wild imaginations, and hopefully don't sound too much like any one thing. But that being said, I mean, there's lots of acts that we sort of admire, and especially some of the big pop bands, electronic pop bands like Pet Shop Boys and the Eurythmics and Brodsky Beat and those kind of guys. They're like idols of ours, and the way that they kind of do this pop music that kind of uses club music, we like that.
Yeah.
But, yes, I've been really into this band Spark, so I don't know if you've heard before, but it's sort of like, I think out of all those bands, like Depeche Mode or Pet Shop Boys or whatever, like Sparks is where it all begins. Really quirky, dance-infused pop, and they're incredible. One of the best was when at the beginning of last year we played The Big Day Out. Is that right?
One of these days I want to go to that.
That was the beginning of 2007, and we played The Big Day Out in Melbourne, and we were sort of like second to last in the dance team. And it was just a most overwhelming feeling because the level of excitement that the crowd got to just was this wave that came onto us, and it was almost like they were screaming to a point which made you feel like the tent was on fire. And at one point I remember stopping and looking around to see if there was anything wrong, and then look around and then look back at their faces, and they were just like exploding, and it was like, it was one of the most moving things that's ever happened.
And Melbourne's traditionally a very fickle audience, I guess, perhaps in the same way that
Really?
New York might be. When you go to some places, they get a lot of bands. They've got a real rich musical and cultural history, and you kind of stand there, and they're pretty cool. Melbourne was the bitch that we couldn't tame for a long time, but we finally tamed.